Alright, guys. Nah, TA is in a pretty terrible spot. Yo, zzzzhanali. Alright, guys, welcome to a little bit late here because the lesson ran a little late, but it's all good. Welcome to open coaching. Don't know how many of you are here for that. I know Herman is, yeah. Hsta. Yeah, so he actually submitted already to me a couple questions, so we're gonna start with those. But for those of you that didn't check it out, you can check out the post on Discord in the announcement section. But basically, gonna start doing this. We're gonna spend 2 hours now answering questions from you guys from the chat. Any questions you have in the chat? Is there any Discord? Yes, there is. And gonna try to keep it brief so I can get to as many different questions as possible. All right, so let's start with these dotabuff pages here. Oh, it's opening them in the wrong tab though. I'm gonna switch them over here. Just a second. All right, guys, so give me just 2 minutes. Question in chat or Discord. In the chat is easier, but if it's something very long, you can also send it to me on Discord. That's fine too. All right, just 2 minutes. We're back. Gonna set everything up. Just a sec. All right, we're back. Change the mix. All right, let's get the cam going. Okay. So first question up is by Herman, and categories. This should be general gameplay. So what he asked was, losing mid in the game, what am I doing wrong? What is my problem that I'm still not winning more consistently? All right. 5 categories, you can again check that out in the Discord. General gameplay, item skill builds, how to play against, drafting, and other. So, gonna switch over to the dotabuff view, the games that are linked. So, quick overview of each one. Now, this game, it's very hard to have an impact as troll because, first of all, if you look at your 3 cores, what do you guys do? Right click. 3 single target right clickers. That's always a bad idea to be the same because it means you're countered by the same stuff as well. In this case, PA, right, evasion, counters you. Axe, the call, counters you because all your hero does is right click, and if you get called into blade mail, just own yourself. High armor, you know, good against right clicks but weak to spells, so very easy to die to ogre, pudge, Rubik, nukes. Right, so this game I would say it's a pretty big outdraft, and since you picked troll last, into, so this was troll into, yeah, you actually knew every hero except Rubik, so this was definitely like a game losing pick to take troll here. And you were much better off grabbing a magic damage hero, like let's say Zeus. Pretty easy game for Zeus, right? Because you don't care about evasion, don't care about armor, you keep your distance, you let these guys be in the front. In fact, bonus thing here, not only is it like bad because you're triple right clickers, but you're also all 3 of you melee. I mean, you could be ranged as troll, but you want to be melee. Like, what does it mean if only damage coming out of your team is a melee right clicker and like there's 3 of you? It means if you want to kill somebody, like let's say you want to kill this PA, how does that happen? The 3 of you need to be in melee range right clicking her, and what if she blinks out? Like what then? All right. Or also if you're on top of her, all right clicking as melee heroes, that means easiest 3-man call of Axe's life, right? Easy 3-man fade bolt, telekinesis stun, etc. Rot, even everything is gonna hit your whole team. It's just no wonder like it was such a stomp, because no way with this pick, right? This game, Medusa Spectre, very greedy still. It went pretty late, you got some good items, so out of all the games, this one I might actually check out the replay a little bit. I went through them already. So this one, Clinks, again, similar story. Clinks PA, single target physical damage. On top of that, you're up against Zeus, which is exactly the kind of hero I suggested for the last game, right? It's a hero like magic damage, doesn't care about armor, sits back. The Zeus Clinks matchup is extremely difficult, right? It's one of the few heroes that has built-in true sight from his spells, right? And once again, you pick the Clinks into the Zeus, right? So it's kind of countering yourself, which I sense may be a recurring trend here. Also, Clinks into Sven, bad idea too. Sven, you know, has that gap close. Physical damage can be okay against Sven, but not in form of Clinks, because it just kills you too easily. For you to match the Sven, like, you need to have a crap ton of items, basically. So what would have been a better pick here than the Clinks? Some gap close they can get on top of Zeus, get on top of AA, because they're very squishy, like let's say Ember. Also Ember complement your team pretty nicely. Even though it's a melee hero, like, you deal damage with your spells, and Sleight of Fist has crazy range, so you're not really melee. Brings a bit of magic damage, which is nice, so you're not stacked up with the PA, same damage type. Yeah, so Ember just has a really easy time jumping Zeus and AA, and also Ember, pretty easy to dodge the Sven coming at you, right? You can dodge it with both Sleight of Fist and Remnant. And this is just an example, it's not like Ember is the only hero, right? But it's exact to give you an idea of like the type of hero that would have been better for the game. Once again, Troll. So again, pretty similar story. Spectre, Bristleback, Troll. All the damage in the form of right clicks. And once again, triple melee on top of that. This time against the Tidehunter, right? So what's gonna happen if the 3 of you are stacked up trying to kill somebody And Tide presses Ravage. And forget about the Ravage. Like, what happens when he presses Anchor Smash? Right? Anchor Smash. 60% damage reduction without the talent. Yeah, he took the talent, so that becomes 80. So if all your damage is right click, and Tide reduces that by 80%, who is dying, man? Like, nobody's dying, ever. Big problem. Once again, too much physical, like physical right click based damage, right? That you just cannot kill people with. What could you pick instead? This looks like a pretty free Timbersaw game, for example. Again, Ember would be alright, in a similar way to last game, but this looks like a Timber game. Timber has pure damage, and also enemies have 2 strength heroes. Ember's pretty good against Tide. And also their damage is actually largely physical as well. Clinks and Drow, it's basically the same thing, right? When it comes to their damage output, at least. So Timbersaw with the high armor, with your passive, that'll be easy game winning pick here. Other option, Wind Ranger. Again, press Wind Run. Those 2 heroes cannot hit you. The Witch Doctor ulti cannot hit you. The other 2 are melee. Free Wind Ranger game also. Invoker is kind of... it's not the hero you should be thinking about when you think magic damage. His damage is not as reliable. He needs setup. It's not like... You cannot compare Invoker and Zeus, for example. Zeus, you just press buttons and deal crazy damage. Yeah. This one... Okay, this time you're actually Zeus. And you had, once again, physical damage cores. So in your team, it looks a lot better. What do they have that's good against Zeus? Well, Viper with the magic resist and Jugg with the healing ward and the magic immunity is a bit annoying for Zeus to play against. So once again, not the ideal pick. What could have been better? When you're up against Bloodseeker, Rupture, you want a hero that can move freely even if ruptured and not take damage, right? So perfect example would be Storm Spirit. Again, any of the spirits really. Well, not any. Ember and Storm go invulnerable while they move, so yeah, those would have been pretty much better choices here. I'm sorry, I can go more in depth, but I can see there's new questions popping up, so I want to get to those. So just lastly, we're going to check out this replay real quick. This is the only one where the draft looks kind of sort of okay. Apart from being greedy, but you survived. But actually, let's see if it's... I didn't see the date. 5 days ago, should be available. Okay, it is. While downloading, let's answer... hype. Top 3 solo carry heroes and why. So I actually mentioned this briefly with the guy I was just coaching right now, just before this. What you're looking for in a solo carry hero, you want somebody that's mobile. That's number 1 priority. If you're not mobile, you can't make the enemies react quickly. Like if you're an immobile hero like Necro or some shit, you can still build to be mobile with travels or whatever. But if you're immobile, like either you're running down the lane because you're stronger, or you lose, basically. You don't have the option of like playing the map. So you want mobility, you want tower damage, you want to be able to pressure towers, although that's actually last on the list. So order of importance: mobility, wave clear. If you cannot clear waves, again, the hero sucks. Like you're gonna have a super hard time making enemies react if you can't clear waves. So no mid bane, for example, like the worst wave clear. Solo kill potential. If you have no solo kill potential, again, one guy can just come and defend and push the wave back, right? Your hero needs to be able to threaten solo enemies. That way, when you're pushing a wave, you can force more than one hero back. They need to send like 2 or 3 heroes to defend. And then you go to a different lane, and every time if you're one hero forcing multiple hero reactions, it's going to be very easy to create situations that you want, right? You're always going to be one step ahead. That's how you get map control, essentially. And the last thing is tower damage, right? It would be nice if your hero can also pressure towers the same way. So Wind Ranger, it's great. Storm Spirit's pretty good. Morphling is alright. although it's a bit lacking in the mobility department. TA just falls off too hard. It, like, on paper fits, but just falls off super hard, so I would not recommend. Again, lacking the mobility. And the axe thing doesn't really count, because you need too many items on TA. If you could somehow rush axe and still have good damage, then maybe. What else? Zeus is okay. Lacks the tower damage, but has everything else. Can easily buy travels early. Alright, SlashStrike. Mention him. SlashStrike has pretty much everything, to be honest. Sick wave clear, sick tower push, good solo kill potential. Pretty fast, right? You can buy travels. I guess, yeah, mobility is like the one thing that's kind of eh. Ember, one of the best mobilities. Sick wave clear. A bit lacking the solo kill and a bit lacking for the tower push, though. The Void Spirit is just like a more early game version of Ember. Oh yeah, Monkey King. Monkey King. Actually, yeah, that's why I have these two here. Should be just looking at this part. Monkey King, sick mobility, scales super well. Like, Void Spirit is the early game version of Ember, and Monkey King is the late game version of Ember. Right, so good wave clear, solo kill, everything, and also good team fight on top of it all. Wukong's is kind of like a tower pushing tool because it zones enemies. What can you say about Visage Boss 4? I want to know anything about it. I've been playing it only as a core. Okay, I actually have a bunch of VODs. Not sure if I uploaded those though, but one of the guys that I'm coaching spammed Boss 4 Visage for a while. It's pretty interesting. Basically, you play around the Soul Assumption. Right? Soul Assumption is your strong spell as a support. You want an offlaner with you that actually, deals damage, obviously. So the Soul Assumption works, gets charges, and you want to be aggressive. And still, even though this is the most important spell, you keep it level 1 generally, maybe level 2. You still need the other spells obviously to be useful, and yeah, items you want to buy generally just you don't really need anything as a Visage. You can get a couple, like you should get an urn, generally always good to have on any hero. Get some small items. Medallion obviously is great, but sooner or later you want to start working on axe, right? That's still the main way you contribute in the late game and you transition to late game. Alright, let's check out the match ID. Let me just write down another announcement real quick. So let's see, you're playing I guess this, yeah, you were support Visage here. You built pipe into mech. Okay, so first of all, for sure this 31-minute mech didn't do anything, right? Mech is a static heal, and at 32 minutes, like 275 health, it's not gonna change anything in a fight. Right, like you gotta ask yourself, what can I do with this item? I mean, everybody that's been watching stream knows this question by now. What can I do with this item that I cannot do without? Okay, so this mech, like, the heal is impactful early game, right? If you get it fast. But you can't because you have mana issues also on this hero, so... Rushing the pipe is an okay choice. They have lots of magic damage. It frees up the axe to get other items. You know, axe is not an offlaner that typically wants the pipe. Still, this is like a pure utility kind of build. Okay, the problem here is actually you maxed out the soul assumption. That's why I mentioned, like, getting 1, maybe 2 levels is fine, but at that point it's just more damage and it's not gonna be a difference maker. If you have just 1 point in Grave Chill, this is the spell you need to max, by the way, you cannot farm. Also, the slow, like, it doesn't increase much, but it still turns from irrelevant to relevant, right? 70% is like, whatever, you're not gonna catch anybody with that. 35 is okay. It's like a, almost, you could call it a disable, right? And then the attack speed drain, obviously, that's what actually helps you push waves, right? It's important to push waves with any hero, not just cores, so as a visage as well. Grave Chill, attack speed on the birds allows you to push waves. So you need to be maxing the Grave Chill sooner, no more than 1 or 2 points in the soul assumption. So 2 options, right? Either you go for the axe, so you can have more offensive potential, which would be an okay idea. This game, you have some pretty tasty targets. Okay, that's actually a core shaker with, he got really fat. Yeah, but I'm assuming he got AC at the end, yeah. So before that, like, he's not that tanky. I guess Facebook maybe armor talent. Nope, took move speed, so no armor talent. So Shaker and Lion are great targets for you to go for in the fight. Also because, check out, they both have a blink dagger. I mean, same logic with CM, actually, yeah. CM, Shaker, Lion. These blink heroes, ideally in the fight, you're going on them with the Grave Chill and the birds to cancel their blink. Also, second reason, if you're canceling their blink, it's going to be outside of the fight. You cannot send your birds into the middle of the fight because they're just going to die to AoE spells, right? So you want to find this enemy utility hero sitting back and focus him with the familiars. If you don't want to go axe, damage route, you just want to get some utility. Again, like, somehow help the team. Mech, not the way to go. You're playing against a Storm. Very little disable on the team. In fact, your Venge actually bought an Orchid. Right? Kind of nice idea, but very late. So you could take a page out of his book. In fact, if the Storm was an issue, which kind of looks like he was, even rushing an Orchid in this game could have had a very big impact. For sure, bigger impact than any like healing or whatever. Because it does kind of look like Storm was the issue. He had no disables. What else can you get for him? It's basically these 3 items. Orchid, Athos, which is, it's okay, but it's not as good obviously, but it's something. And Yules. The problem with Athos is that it has a projectile, right? That can be dodged. Even though it's kind of fast, you can dodge it. Orchid and Yules are instant. So Yules sets up for your familiar stun. So think about it this way. Don't have one of those items. Storm never has to care about you, right? Never gonna get caught. Only thing Storm has to care about is Axe's call. So if Axe is showing himself, fighting anybody, has blink cancelled, anything, then Storm can do whatever he wants. Alright, and of course that's gonna be a hard game. Free Storm game, you might call it. This Venge Orchid came all way too late. Now if you have a Yules, all of a sudden, Storm has to care, because what happens? He jumps in, gets Yuled, follow up with the familiar stun, and he's dead. Alright. Any right clicks from the TA or whatever. And the Yules actually kind of helps your team also respond in time. So it's kind of nice that flying time. When to skill adaptive strike in laning stage with morphling. Basically, if you're up against a lane that is gonna make it hard for you to, you know, get the range creep with a right click, get close enough. I mean, if it's dangerous to get it with a right click, it's gonna be very dangerous to get it with waveform, obviously. So your attack range as a morph is 350. The cast range on adaptive strike level 1 is 600. And even with like level 1 agi, which is gonna be about 30 after morphing, this adaptive strike does like 100 damage, so it's very easy to secure range creeps with it from level 1. So it's all about the range creep, as usual. Oh, I kind of forgot about the categories here. So visage, yeah, that was a build question, and I guess the adaptive strike thing is also a build question. The reason I got these categories is so it's gonna be easier. I actually came up with almost came up with a color coding system, couldn't quite finish it. Implementing it for next time, so that, you know, in the VOD it's gonna be easier to check out these things. I see we have some new people tuned in, so gotta repeat, welcome guys, this is open coaching. So any questions, any like match IDs, some games where you weren't sure what happened, not sure what to do, what to build, etc. Basically like mini coaching, right? Free right now. Now's your chance, so go ahead. And if not, we can check out the Medusa replay that we were on earlier. I think we never actually got to it.
Prepare for battle.
FireWalkerAWE. Any tips for someone who took some time off to get back in the game / meta? Okay, I guess this question might actually be in the other category, because it's kind of general gameplay, but not really. Well, you're in luck because a new patch is actually hitting right now, or any moment, right? There's gonna be a new patch in these days, and that's gonna mean you know, the game will be fresh for everybody, not just for you. So what I would recommend, since it's kind of the same thing, like what I like to do when the new patch hits is just try some stuff, right? Like revisit maybe some old heroes that I used to like, and just try to get volume in, right? Get volume of games. You need to play a lot of games, you watch a lot of games, so you kind of start feeling like, okay, what's wrong, what isn't, right? Or like, because you can hear about heroes, right? Within a couple of days, you're gonna be like, oh, this hero's broken, oh, this is insane, oh, this build is very cool, whatever. But feeling the game, like feeling when is it good to push, right? What are the timings? Like, should you be contesting Roche? Is 5 mana strong? Is split pushing strong? Like that kind of stuff. You can't read about it, right? You need to get some games in. But yeah, I would say like now is a good time to do that because, well, the meta is essentially changing. Alright, let's move on to the next one. What do you think is most often mistake doing a 2 to 3k bracket? I mean, for what should players focus the most? If I had to say one thing, I would say pushing waves, right? That's what the game is about. You know, at a first, like the first step is you know, pushing towers, obviously, but or rather the goal is pushing towers. But at its most simple, if there's one thing, it's pushing waves. I'll give a couple examples. Classic difference between, it's not just 2 to 3k, but it's actually how you can tell that somebody's at least, I would say, 5k, generally speaking. There's always exceptions, obviously. There's always exceptions. But a certain habit that people, you know, don't really correct until maybe like around 5k plus, or even 6k maybe, I don't know. It's hard to say these things on exact numbers, right? But when a lower MR player isn't sure what to do, right, or notices like they're losing the fight or whatever, or it's generally like not certain of how the game is going, their first reaction is to usually run to base, right, or farm some camps. And that's just straight up wrong. Like, going off of what I said earlier, the game is about pushing waves. If you're not sure what to do, you should look for the nearest wave that you can push, even if it means walking like 20 seconds towards it. It's better than farming camps. And that also means not farming camps on the way to the wave. That's not a thing. It's actually something that like so many people, like when I'm coaching, like I've had to kind of correct for them. And they're always like kind of surprised, like, oh, I thought it's all about being efficient, right? Like if I'm gonna push a wave, might as well farm some camps on the way. But no, like that's how you lose, because the wave is not always gonna be there for you to be able to push it, right? The camps are always gonna be there, but the opening to push the wave, not gonna be there. And you want to be, like, let's say you're doing that while the enemies are grouping to take your tower. Stopping for a couple camps or not is the difference between you starting to hit their tower before they start to hit yours, and they already hitting your tower, and then you're like, oh, let me go for the camp, like let me go for a wave, get some split push going, but by the time you even reach their tower, like yours is gone. Right? So that's a big thing. If you want to get out of the 2-3k bracket, push waves, creep waves. That's what you need to think about. How do I kill creep waves as quickly as possible across the map, get to them fast, right? Sustain myself in the meantime, not die in the process. Those are the things you need to be thinking about. And automatically this means a bunch of heroes are absolutely unplayable. Heroes like Bane, heroes like Ogre. Right? These heroes are horrible at pushing waves, don't pick them. And you're like, whoa, but I see them in pro games, like how are they picking it? Oh, well,
you're a great addition to my guard.
Yo, Cregslist, thank you so much for the sub, bro. Really appreciate it. I don't think you asked any questions yet. So I will prioritize, obviously, questions by subs or questions that come with donations. So yeah, feel free to ask something as well. So where was I? Yeah. Don't pick heroes that can't push waves, because they work in pro games because there people can count on each other, but majority of the player base is playing pubs. You cannot count on each other, so if you pick a hero that, if you pick Bane and your solo queue pub, you basically might as well be tossing the dice, right? Flipping a coin, whether you're gonna win or not, because you don't have much control over that, because you can't push waves. All right. Thank you also for the follow, zzzzhanali. Fuck man, this my second monitor is like, it's actually a TV, so text is a little bit hard to read sometimes, which I know ironic because I'm using it as like a fucking chat monitor, but yeah. SR, oh, just RTZ, SRTZS. Cregslist, follow and sub, thank you bro. Again, and Ryan Dota. Appreciate it. What's up, Rubara? How's it going? All right, we're checking out this. Yeah, this. I'm just gonna keep going back to the Medusa game until we get the next question. So the post, what post? Patch out hype, fake hype. It's like the easiest way to troll streams. Yeah. All right, so we're not gonna watch the lane stage because I doubt that's where things went wrong. Unless, okay, maybe we should watch a little bit. Necro pull out quite far ahead, which you kind of shouldn't. About the show match, no, I didn't see the post, but I'll check it out. But I mean, I heard all about it, right? Like, Kumara told me about it.
The next label play.
So I mean, other than Necro out CSing here, I don't see that much. I will say the Necro hasn't right clicked you once, so I'm not sure why you skilled the mana shield at all. Stacking Ancients, fine. Here he runs it. Okay. This is an example of panic. Okay. You cannot move your hero out of the camera like just because you're getting gone. Also, just because this guy shows up from here doesn't mean you need to walk like this, right? Just 2-3 steps towards the tower and you're absolutely fine. Like, you're full HP, man. No reason to be that afraid. I mean, you had your mana shield on tanking neutrals, but when he's going on you it was off, and that's why I just took a bit of a chunk of damage. But again, no reason to go all the way back. And going to base here is a big problem. Like, you lose so much from that. You lost a couple creeps, XP, and even if not that, just 90 gold for the teleport, right? So that was a very way too scared reaction. Missing last hits there. Missed some last hits, which, you know, on an empty lane. That's... Yeah, you want to make sure that your snake... I don't... Like, this is the most important creep and you just kind of ignore it. So you want to wait for the creeps to meet. This is kind of rare for this to happen, but... the snake needs to bounce on the range creep, man. Like, that's... It one-shots it if it's enough bounces, so... and also gives you mana back that way. You don't get mana back if it doesn't. I mean... You gotta be a bit more patient with it, and like as they line up now, if you click on this one, it'll go this, right? If you do too early, like you might miss the range creep, and also you end up like not even trying to last hit the range creep at all. I'm not sure why. Yeah. Okay, quick detour to answer Hype's other question. What would you do in general if you were countered by a lot of enemy heroes? Like Morph versus AA. So what does it mean to be countered? Alright, let's get philosophical here. Being countered means the enemy hero somehow prevents you from, enemy hero, lineup, item, whatever, prevents you from doing what your hero is best at. Right? Morph versus AA is a nice example. So Morph, the strength of Morphling is, or one of his strong sides, you know, is the ability to shift strength, right? Survivable that way. AA prevents that with his Ice Blast. So therefore, simply, you cannot count on your attribute shift as a Morphling against AA. Ice Blast is a bit difficult to counter item-wise because basically you have just a few options. You have Satanic, status resistance, right? So Satanic potentially Sanjiasha. That makes the Ice Blast last shorter. However, you know, the lifesteal and etc. is countered by the Ice Blast, so it's kind of a double-edged sword there. But that's an okay approach, and it's a good item on Morph. You could go Manta into Satanic. And the other approach is mobility, right? Dodge the Ice Blast. Don't get hit in the first place. Yule's does not work. It still applies the debuff. So it's basically Force Staff, you know, Hurricane Pike rather, and or Blink. Those are your options. So basically, if you're countered, you need to play your hero in a different way. You can't just play the exact same way and expect things to work out. You need to somehow adjust to the counter. Yes, like in the ideal morphling game, obviously you're not gonna buy Blink like that. Blink gives you no damage, doesn't help you farm, etc. But you have to adapt somehow, right? Sacrifice farm speed and damage for mobility. Right? Play the hero in a different way so that you can deal with the counter. Other option would be trying that's kind of what the Blink helps you do, is reach the AA and blow him up before he gets to ult you. Which, you know, Morph is pretty decent at, a lot of burst damage. And Blink will be a decent item to help you reach him. Right? I suppose you could try with Shadowblade as well, but that's not really it's not ideal. Because Silver Edge just kind of sucks. Or Morph. So basically, if you're countered, play your hero in a different way. Play for a different strength. Like, it's suboptimal on paper, but it will end up being better in the case that you're countered. Alright, let me check out the post real quick. I figured it's with the Photoshop. Nice. Royal Rumble. Nice, nice, nice. So we got a little pleb, mind control, mastermind, my boy Stamanen, cool baby. Looks good, looks good. I mean, basically can't even tell that it's Photoshop, right? I mean, that's how my body looks anyway. Alright. So lane stage didn't go great. Necro out farming you. Once again, like, just, you gotta stop going to base, man. Like, going to base is not a thing. I don't know if you're still watching anyone, but for anybody watching, like, don't go to base. Like, walking to base, steeping back is really bad. Like, it should never happen unless you absolutely have to. Also skill build, like level 8, 2 points in the split shot. Like, now you're saving the skill point. Okay, this is your farming spell, like number 1. It's better than the snake, right? You cannot be maxing the split shot so late. Definitely only the more. You don't need more than 1 point in the shield, and you can even leave the snake at level 3, 2 or 3 even, and just max the split shot, because that's what helps you farm. It might not seem like a big deal, 10% damage, but that's where your farm comes from, essentially. Okay, it looks like they warded all these camps in the triangle, so you can't farm them. Okay, then you just go farm the other jungle. Right. In fact, I'm not sure why I ignored this part entirely. Also, highly recommend Quelling Blade on Medusa, because it allows you to farm camps it allows you to hit multiple camps with the same split shot. Right, and also in this case it will allow you to stack this camp.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, you see that camps are warded. Okay, just start farming the other jungle.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Alright, actually get a kill on the Necro. Very nice.
Radiant's top tower. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I'm not sure why. I mean, okay, Ancient spawn up, but like you just refuse to farm this jungle, and I'm not sure why. Like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, right? Compared to the triangle. Yeah, ideally you want to farm the triangle because that's where the Ancients are, but if you don't want to get the sentries yourself or until you deward it, just also farm the other side. And like this is a small camp, man. Like it's not really worth farming. It's a waste of time. This camp is still blocked, and ideally you want to be farming. The triangle is good because you can farm 2 camps at once.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, the Manta rush here. Well, there's nothing. It's not really a good Manta game. There's absolutely nothing to get rid of with Manta. Skadi obviously is amazing against Void and ranged cores like Necro. Skadi is a good choice, but you don't need the Manta. Could have gone Dragonlance, for example. Dragonlance to Skadi is pretty good. Anyway, you're still quite behind on last hits. And like 7 per minute as Medusa 20 minutes is definitely not great. Also here, like, definitely fighting too much. Like, I don't know why. Like, why are you guys here in the triangle fighting? Like, you have Manta and Ultimate Orb. Your damage is really bad still. Dragonlance the Skadi is fine, or you could go Mask of Madness. Sure, it's a lot of people like that build. It's okay. There's also the Butterfly Rush build, but it's kind of pointless here because only right clicker is Void, and he's gonna buy MKB. So
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's tower is under attack.
let's see. Did you TP here or did you walk here?
Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Alright, if you're gonna TP out, don't TP to base. TP somewhere you can farm, mid or top. Also, so far you applied 0 pressure to top lane, which is weird. Definitely your move long before invading enemy triangle should be to just take this tier 1. Or at least pressure it. A bit of a panic ulti here, but it's okay. Okay, what's going on here? Got jumped, used ulti to escape, and now we're running into the fight without ult, without Manta. Nothing good can come out of this. Okay, good thing you turn around, but the fact that you even went there at all is pretty bad. You should be on Azure Treads, also not sure why on Treads. Ultimate should be in inventory. Once again, going towards enemies with Stone Gaze on cooldown, never a good idea. Well, yeah, you end up getting run down. Just don't have ulti, no fighting, that's all. Like, instead of, when you see this action happening mid, instead of running towards it, just run top and take the tower. Craigslist. I play a lot of Jugg and I always build Battle Fury. I see on dotabuff a lot of high skill players go Mask Madness instead. Are there situations where Mask Madness is better than Battle Fury? Can you still farm as fast with Mask Madness? Now, obviously you farm slower. In fact, let's open up this dotabuff to check it out. Guys. Now, Battle Fury is always going to be faster farming than the Mask of Madness, that's for sure. It's just, Mask of Madness is a lot cheaper, right? Like less than half the price, allows you to come online sooner. Also, it can be disassembled, right? Generally, use the quarterstaff for Butterfly and the Morbid Mask for Satanic is usually the way people do it. I suppose you could also make a Bloodthorn with the quarterstaff, or get into Bloodthorn if you don't want Butterfly. So, like, long story short, Mask Madness is just, it's more, you come online earlier, it's a bit more of an aggressive option for fast games. That being said though, I would advise, depends on your MR bracket, but under like 5k or so, I would advise to just go Battle Fury every single time, because superior farming is it's gonna be more important than coming online earlier. Yeah, you can see Mask of Madness ended up selling the mask at some point, I guess, and turned quarterstaff into Butterfly for 8 minutes. Don't get deceived by seeing faster item timings with the Mon, because that's just from fighting and from kills, not from farm. Ah, right, Sean. Okay, that's you. Okay. Yeah. I would for sure recommend just to keep going with the Battle Fury. Also, Mask Madness, keep in mind, it's tougher to use, right? It can backfire pretty heavily. You gotta be very aware of how the fight is going and to what extent you can get away with silencing yourself, which is a big deal. So yeah, best ideally just keep going with Battle Fury. And if you're gonna replace the Battle Fury with something, then it can be Maelstrom to Mjolnir, which I suspect the new patch will make Maelstrom and Mjolnir better again. Let's refresh Reddit and see if patch is out. Nope, still no patch. Alright, keep watching the replay. So yeah, this is the spot you kind of never want to be in, kind of just stuck in base. Even though Medusa is good at it, like, you're at your enemy's mercy, right? You can make plays once this happens, right? They still have tier 1s on the side lanes, which is insane. The way to prevent this from happening is to defend. Sorry, it's not to defend, it's to push side lanes more aggressively, not just wait in your base. I don't understand how are you losing health and not mana? That's really weird. Mana shield is on. I guess you got the mana back from the snake a little bit, but I guess the Heartstopper, yeah, I guess the Heartstopper just goes through the mana shield maybe, but that's super weird. It shouldn't work like that. Yeah, and he has all the talents for it, and he has a shawl, and you were standing on top of Vortex. Okay, I guess it's kind of an extreme case. I had some okay kiting here. Finally killed that guy. Yeah, you can also see the other problem with your build is the lack of damage. You know, happens with the Manta. It's not so much. Nah, it's not a problem with the build necessarily. It's just that the items came super late. Like he has several items on you. As soon as you get MKB, it's fine.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower has fallen. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I mean, they end up throwing a lot, but it's still game is large in their hands, and it's just if you end up winning, it's because they mess up. At this point, you still have just one damage item, and it's 40 minutes in, and they're all mega farmed. Although MKB is the best one, it may not cut it. The ultimate late game damage item for Medusa, other than Rapier obviously, is Mjolnir, right? As you get this talent, every single one of the split shots can proc the lightning, which ends up being just a crap ton of damage, right? Because you proc it on like 3 people and they all take each other's lightning as well, so... Yeah, so this ult was a little bit early, and now when it's cooldown, you cannot... I mean, you kind of blood blocking yourself with your illusions. If your ult is cooldown, you cannot be going in, right? You have no counterplay anymore. You have a cheese, but... The Satanic obviously helps a lot with the lifesteal from everybody. Oh, he actually popped the cheese way too early. That was the cheese for like mana only? Why though? And does the Necro thing reduce the mana you get as well? No, it didn't. Okay. Yeah, I think also you have to really work on camera positioning because, I mean, look at this. Like, people are leaving your vision in the fight. Like, this is your player perspective. Necro is still in the fight, but you don't see him. Like, that's a problem. And now they just have sights and can keep you... Wait, what hex you? I guess Prince Knife? Prince Knife on A. They just lock you down forever, but... Yeah, the problem is like... Staying... Using ult too early and then staying to keep fighting afterwards as well. And this also a problem. See, they're about to push and you're running to base. Why? And why Satanic heal if you're gonna walk the base anyway? Ah, you have ultra wide. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So it's maybe not as extreme, but yeah. Just go and take a wave or two bottom, top, or anywhere. Like you can even cut the wave here and then TP out, right? Even though Medusa is a bad hero for it, I'm pretty sure you could get away with cutting some waves. And now your team buys back. The enemies don't push, but you're stuck in base. Okay, they do push, but you're not even there for the fight then. Catches the necro, not able to punish it. So I would have to say, like, it looks a lot like something we talked about last time, I'm pretty sure as well. Reactive play. You're playing, you're still second highest net worth in the game, top on your team, but you're playing reactively, right? Like, you're waiting for enemies to push, you're waiting for your allies to initiate, instead of you making stuff happen. Yeah. And now once you get caught out and without buyback, the game is just over. I mean, that's... shit happens, right? Like, it's obviously not good to get caught there without being able to get your ulti off. I think you had a chance to get your ulti off though, because you didn't commit chrono. Let's see. Thought your team was with you, but they were all bottom, so the remaining 3 cores jump you. He was standing on top of you with invis, actually. Yeah, should have noticed your health dropping. And if you get the ulti off, you're still fine. Yeah. Had a lot of time to get your ulti off, but you took like a bajillion damage from him just standing near you. There you go. The aura did 1.2k damage, that's insane. 1.2k damage from the aura. I guess the aura somehow goes through mana shield. Moanica, is this the chat question session? Yes, it is. This is the open coaching. Alright. I'm gonna leave this replay now. I'm just gonna check out the demo though. I really wanna test this Medusa Heartstopper interaction. It's... can't believe that that goes through. It's really strange. Or maybe it doesn't, maybe... let's see. Yeah, not quite as many people or questions or both. I was kind of counting on. Alright, there we go. But might have to do with time zone. Maybe it's not convenient for NA people and or EU people. I'm gonna do like a straw poll to see what times work best for everybody. Let me just test. So it was a level 25 necro, everything decked out, and he had spell amp. Nether shawl. Did he have the better spell amp, the relic at some point? No, actually, yeah, he had the lamp there. He didn't have the relic. So it's just this 2.9 health decay. We're talking Medusa late game. But whatever, talents don't actually matter. Skadi and shit. Skadi Manta. Yeah, wow, holy fuck. Heartstopper goes through mana shield. That's some crazy stuff. I don't think it really matters. I mean, this doesn't make necro a counter or anything, but it's still pretty weird that that's how it works. But I guess, yeah, it's not damage. This reduces damage, but this is not damage. It's health decay. Right. And then if you have fucking give this guy some spell amp. Let's see. Let's make it crazy. This plus guy and a couple more talismans. And let's add an AA to the mix. Because this situation happened a bit earlier. Yeah, getting fucking shredded by the aura. It's nuts. Actually, does the spell boost it at all? I feel like it doesn't. Yeah, no, actually, I don't. Because it's not damaged, the spawn doesn't work. Interesting. But the vortex does, though. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Weird stuff. No, Radiance definitely does not go through. So I would still push him alone in this game, even with the Spirit Breaker. If you wanna counter the Spirit Breaker, you just need some way to stop the charge. Ideally, your hero does it naturally, right? Like Ranger, Morphling, Luna, but she's kind of bad right now. Or just buy an item, right? Yules and Bike are the best items to break the charge. Alright, so Moanica, what's your target priority, like as a core, carry especially, from mid-game onwards, 5v5 engagements? Okay, so this is a... What category would that be? This question. Because a little bit hard to answer this without a game. Yeah, so this is general gameplay, and that's pretty tough to answer without... If you can just link me couple IDs, match IDs of any of your games, it's gonna be easier to explain this, because otherwise I have to list like every possible situation, and it's tough to... The point is, like, with the match ID, I mean, okay, let's use this match ID, right? If you're the Spectre in this game, who do you target with Haunt? For sure the Rubik and the AA, because they die super fast, right? Both Rubik and AA will die within one Abyssal Stun with the Manta and the Haunt. They're trying to stay back, and that's Spectre's strength, is with the Haunt you can reach the back line easily, alright? Also, you gotta look at the rest of your team. Whatever you do, you cannot be stacked up with your team. So, if you're a melee core, you cannot be focusing the same guy that your other melee core is focusing. So, even though, like I just said, right, like Spectre, ideally you want to target the Rubik and the AA. Imagine somehow, it's kind of weird, but just imagine Medusa is like right next to Rubik and the AA and is already hitting them. Then your target changes, because going on them as well would mean you're next to Medusa. And what happens if you're next to Medusa? Both get Axe Called, you both get Chrono, you both get everything. Right? So you need to be away from your team at all times, so you don't get all hit by the same spells. That's like #1 priority. Then you look at who you can kill within a stun, if anyone. And if there's someone that you can kill within your stun, right, reliably kill them before they can get anything off. Now, if AA uses this Ice Blast, it's a useless target. If Rubik uses Lift, it's no longer a good target, because the point of killing them is to take these spells out of the fight. And if they've already used them, then they're not that useful targets. Still, you may have to kill them anyway, because you can't really go for anybody else at the time. If you were Sven, Morphling, or PA in this game, not Spec, how would it change? Spectre... so... For PA, it wouldn't change a whole lot. Sometimes things might change if you have a BKB, right? Because Spectre is not a BKB hero, PA is. So, if the AoE disables weren't BKB piercing, then you could be like, okay, with BKB you could just go for whoever. In this case, both Chrono and Call are BKB piercing, so the same rule stands. You cannot be jumping anybody if it puts you within Call and Chrono range of your teammates. So most likely you'd still be jumping the Rubik and the AA. Only way this would change is if you could be like, I can reliably kill one of the cores within, like, before they can react, before they can use anything. So that usually means within the stun. At this stage of the game, with these items, say it's close to impossible, even for a hero like Sven. Although Sven has the highest, burst out of all these heroes. So if we go back like minute, what? Let's say by minute 25 or so. Excuse me. By minute 25 or so, Sven should have, like, you can realistically have Mom, Echo, Axe, BKB. by 25 or so, because 25 is really fast. At that point, with their items, Void has no defensive item yet, Mega Squish, so you could realistically kill him within your stun. Right, also no backtrack yet, etc. Necro, no. He has Blade no, Plate no, right? Double Mail, gets the Shivas a bit later. That guy is not dying in your stun. Right, so what's gonna happen is, it's gonna pop Ghost Shroud, not gonna kill him, and then your big jump that was supposed to insta-kill somebody, didn't insta-kill somebody, and probably lose the fight. Same goes for Axe, damage block, armor, right? So it's gonna be still the supports and maybe the Void. If Void has Mass Command is activated, then for sure the Void, because that's you know, -8 armor, so pretty much two-shot him at that point. I guess for Morphling, what would be a little bit different is you want to target the EA because of the Ice Blast, right? It gives you extra reason to focus that guy. Because taking out the Ice Blast is super valuable for you. You can tank the other stuff afterwards as long as, you know, you don't Ice Blast it using the Strength Morph. Sum up everyone, yes, so yeah, magic damage hero if your team is all physical. Think about range versus melee also. Improve last game farming. Remember to push hard lane. Yeah, so yeah, that's a good summary. And just push lanes in general. Yeah. What sort of question do you ask yourself every game? Like, how do I die against your lineup? Who cancel my TPs? What other sorts of things? TP thing, it's kind of a, honestly I would say I don't even like have to ask myself that. It's just, you kind of know in the game. I guess that's something that starts happening automatically. Going through 1 or 2 games on your account, target parties you think your core is at. Sure. Haven't been playing a lot of solo queue on my account lately. Last couple are party games, but you can still check them out. There's a solo queue here and there. Okay, this one was solo. Yeah, these two were solo. Shakira and the Pugna. Yeah, this was, I guess, rank 500 average or so. So, oh yeah, this was a Miracle Morph and then Demon Lesh. Yo, Craigslist.
Was it possible for us to not lose this game? 5,741,606,240.
Alright, thank you so much for the donation, bro. We're gonna check out your replay in a moment. Just let me answer the other questions. So, yeah, basically, what am I thinking about, and how would the chorus target? So Legion for sure going for the Arc Warden here. Like, that's a must. Like, Legion is very good because obviously a couple reasons for this. Arc Warden is a top target. You know, he's obviously does a billion damage, and Arc Warden in this case specifically counters the duel really hard, because when you duel, both are standing still, so it's very easy for Arc to just put a bubble with, you know, LC outside of it and basically nullify the duel, or at least LC's damage. Also, Arc Warden like tries to sit back, not get caught, etc. So it just makes a lot of sense for Legion to target him. Morphling wants to go for the Arc as well, ideally. But if Legion catches him already, generally not that much follow-up is needed. You could just throw an adaptive, probably it's going to be enough. It depends a bit on the farm, obviously. You see how like there's a lot of things here, like it changes throughout the game. With these items that we're seeing, like Legion easily solos this guy. But you still want to... Actually, okay, it's not that certain. It's not he only has 160 duel. You want to secure that, right? So you want to use the adaptive, but not the E-blade, because that's going to prevent extra hits. E-blading the troll is a very good idea, because the only thing troll does is right click. So if you E-blade him, he's fucking disarmed and useless, and it forces him to pop BKB and or ulti. Well, or ulti, I'm gonna pop both. It's not stupid. But you know, he may not want to pop them at that moment, right? So you're forcing like either he has to sit there disarmed, or he uses them at the bad time. Now the Leshrac, you kind of just want to run at the Rubik and the puck, because you know, maybe follow up a little bit on the arc. There's like there's no BKB piercing stuff. So Flesh pops BKB, he can go whenever he wants. So he can follow up the Legion duo on the Arc Warden potentially, or if Legion did not manage to catch him, Lesh can go for the Arc Warden. So for everybody, Arc Warden is priority number 1. But if Arc Warden is already dying, then Lesh can go for the squishies, right? The Rubik and the puck. Now Lesh is an interesting hero because he can deal damage while moving, which very few heroes can. It's like Wind Ranger with the ult mechanic, and like Lesh and DP, and like that's about it. I guess technically, like, you know, Ember with the Flame Guard, there's like, but like all their damage comes from like not right clicking. That's very few heroes, and it's like Lesh and DP. Lesh is the best one. So what that means is he can run down these supports, and going for the supports, not the supports necessarily, the backline, also force the enemy into an awkward spot, because if the Avalon and the Troll want to help the Rubik that Lesh is running at, it means Troll, Avalon, and Rubik are all stacking up, right, very close to each other. Alright, that leaves them vulnerable to AoE spells, right, like my Ice Path here, for example. Personally, my thoughts as Jakiro, I'm a backliner, I have this long range disable. Obviously, it would be awesome to catch the Arc Warden, but realistically, it's not happening because he's sitting far back. So again, if Legion gets the duel, I'm instantly dropping my macro pyre on the duel. Doesn't matter who the target is, just that's what my macro pyre is for. And then I just try to hit as many people as possible with the Ice Path, with obvious priority for the Troll, right? Unless, that's where I gotta think, like, if I click my Ice Path here on Troll, is he already tanking, like, you know, is E-Blade flying towards him? Is he already E-Blade? Is he already tanking Lesh spells? Like, does he actually want to pop BKB at this point? And if yes, then not gonna waste my Ice Path on him. Gonna try to Ice Path the, you know, the others, like the Abaddon, so he doesn't shield him, or the Rubik or the Puck. Alright, but if it's a moment where Troll doesn't want to BKB yet, and I can catch him, like that could be a way to initiate. So, you know, I guess long story short, jump the Arc Warden, kite the Troll Warlord, and, you know, in general, jump the backline. Heroes that die the quickest. Heroes that have, like, Abaddon as a perfect example. There is no game ever where you're like, let's go on the Abaddon first. Even if you have, like, that combo, right, where you silence him with Orchid, and you break him with Silver Edge, so you cannot pop his ult, you can't click it, and you can't activate it automatically. Even then, like, it's probably not the hero you want to focus, because it's a tanky guy. Don't focus the tanky guys, unless you have some extreme counters that are gonna insta-kill them. But especially if it's a hero with, like, essentially 2 lives, like Abaddon, or, you know, Wraith King, obviously, or just annoying heroes that do damage while you're trying to kill them, like Bristleback. These are the worst heroes in the game to focus. So they should always be left for last if possible. Alright, let's check out Sean's replay, and afterwards I can give a similar example for another game with a core targeting. So, was it possible for us to not lose this game? So wait, are you playing on a different account or did you change the name? So you're gonna have to tell me here which one was you, because I'm pretty sure I have you added on. Yeah, I do have you added, but it's none of these are your accounts, so. Uh, 18, yeah, this is... Oh, wait. Did I? This is not the one you... No, okay. No, I pasted something wrong, but I have no clue what this replay is, though. Where would I have gotten it from? Yeah. No idea. Anyway. What else? So. Alright, there we go. So the jugg here. Was it possible to not lose this game? I mean, for sure. This does not look like an outdraft by any means. Excuse me. In fact, I would favor your lineup here. They have a bunch of like early game heroes, only the drow kind of skills. And you guys have pretty solid lineup. Like Jugg Legion is great, with Arc, decent supports. Maybe lacking frontline a little, but definitely favor your draft here. It is not the easiest Jugg game, I'll give you that, because Wind Ranger is annoying for you. The Moonlight Shadow is a big problem. Like the invis makes it hard for you to stick on people. Definitely need dust, which is actually the problem because at some point you don't have slots for dust. But since you still do, you definitely need that dust. Battle Fury 16, it's not too bad. It's not a great timing, but it's not a bad timing. Yeah, enemies were a hell of farm though. Like Travels, Maelstrom at 16, and draw at a full pike. Right, so yeah, you were behind the other cores. Also, yeah, Arc Warden went very greedy. And these supports died so much. I mean, let's check out the replay a little bit. When did your deaths happen? If you died while farming with the Battle Fury, that would be an issue because you really shouldn't. Okay, only 2 deaths, and then after like 22 minutes, a lot of deaths. Oh shit, I should probably remove my bad, this was probably a bit of confusing here because I wrote down I have the sub ad and like 19 plus for analysis, which is true, but that's kind of like not, yeah, it was not the, yeah, whatever, I'll leave it up.
Prepare for battle.
This one is in the bag.
30 seconds to battle.
SK Mirana, yeah, not the easiest lane. I'll just fast forward through it, see how it went. So yeah, you can run down the SK with your Blade Fury after, if his burrow is on cooldown. Right, honestly even before that, yeah. But you seem to be using it a lot after you get burrowed, and that's not the time, like. Because if you use it after he stunned you and right-clicked you a bunch of times, like, then you're lower HP, and then like, what happens is what just happened. Like they just right click you down. So ideally you want to anticipate, because it's kind of predictable. Like he keeps running at you. Like if he's running at you like this, now is the time to spin, right? He could still try to burrow away from it, but it's not that bad, right? You're still forcing it, you take less damage. Yeah, so you gotta get rid of the habit of just like popping Blade Fury after he stuns you. Yeah, at this point, should be leading the lane, man. Like this Wind Ranger also killing you, like died twice now. Time to jungle. I think you kinda ended up doing that. Definitely a point in healing ward also instead of the level 2 crit. Level 1 to 2 crit, barely anything changes. Look at this. You need that healing ward for sustain. You do end up getting it now, but now you're lacking because with the Blade Fury, it does matter. Right, the total damage. Quick maths here. 425, 550, 675, and 800. Okay, it was a misclick, fair enough. But yeah, it's the max Blade Fury is actually just about enough to almost kill these big creeps. If there's no magic resistance, guys, there. No cloak creeps. Yeah, and in a camp like this, you may as well pop the Blade Fury to be faster, especially Final Mana Region item. Threat toggling, it's gonna be good because if it's a stack, there's no doubt about it. Like you stack this, you just farm that with Blade Fury. Even this camp also worth farming with Blade Fury because you're gonna kill the small ones and the big one as well. Yeah, you end up using it for the stack. Okay, get some jelly, get some Ocean Heart, pretty nice. A small tip here, like when you're farming early game, you don't want to have infinite sustain. Trick you can do is like you cut one tree and it's called like choke point jungling, or you create choke points so all the neutrals can't hit you at the same time and you're only tanking one of them at a time. But is getting you to get back in the lane. Yeah, I mean that's gonna happen. Were you in a stack? Okay, you guys were in a 3 stack, yeah. I mean, look, first of all, you know, no offense to your friends or anything, but if you're trying to play better than them, you can't follow their advice, right? Just because they're a couple hundred MR above you doesn't mean, you know, they necessarily understand the game that much better. Yeah. Or in this case, they're not critiquing your strat, right? They're critiquing the strat that I gave you to play with. So, you could go here for like a kill with the disruptor ult, but actually not really. He doesn't have kinetic field skill, so I'm not sure how he wants you to even get a kill there. But yeah, it would be a bad idea. Nice, you get the stack. Okay, if you get the stack, like we talked about how even for just one these camps you should farm with Blade Fury. No way you go farm a stack without the Blade Fury. So just go hit this camp instead. In fact, you can actually do like another big rotation. That would be like maybe the most efficient way to do it. Go for this camp, this camp, this camp, and it should take you about probably about 40 seconds. Should be just in time to again stack this. And once it's a 3 stack, then you farm with Blade Fury. That's probably going to be a max Blade Fury. And obviously farming a 3 stack within like 5 seconds feels really, really good. But yeah, this is just not only because you end up using the Blade Fury anyway, but then you just took a bajillion damage for no reason. And it ended up being way slower than it should have. Okay, you get the ring of health. Once again, good stack. I mean, farming, you are pulling way ahead. Last hit wise, obviously net worth. Not so much because you're 0-2 and these guys have like a lot of kills. This guy's 3 kills, this guy's 1. Orc, but he has Midas. So you end up rotating back to top.
Under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
There's a bit of hesitation here because the camps are dead.
Tower is under attack. Bottom tower is under
Yeah, as you're closing in on the battlefield, you want to be moving towards the ancients. Okay, stack and farm, nice. Yeah, even though kill-wise you guys are behind, it looks quite fine. In terms of net worth. Yeah, this is a fight that, I mean, it's not really a fight, but you could have contributed here if you were farming these jungles, right? That's kind of the problem being with all the way top. Also, this is good what you're doing. You're trying to force away the Moanica. It's great. Again, why? Just Blade Fury when she pops the Starfall, man. Avoid the Starfall damage and you shove the wave. That's like 400 damage you would avoid right there. I guess now they probably ping you or something, but anyway, so far it doesn't look too bad. Like there's like some stuff here and there you could improve, but it doesn't look too bad. But this is kind of the issue. Like you get the Battle Fury, the camp is dead. Like why? Why are you staying here, right? Like what's? You should just move your way to the ancients, the bottom. Or your farm should skyrocket now, but it's not gonna if you. Okay, you end up TPing bottom. Alright, so the problem here is like, yes, you want to be bottom like I just said, but the problem when you TP is that you're now stuck here and you can't escape. Alright, if your TP is ready, like they have no TP spin cancel. If your teleport is ready, you could farm anywhere you want. You could farm here, you could like just take this wave, cut like go to the jungle, cut their wave here, you could do whatever the fuck you want. And if anybody comes, spin TP out. Like the whole map is safe for you if your teleport is off cooldown. But if it's on cooldown, all these places are unsafe. In fact, even this place is kind of unsafe because you don't really see much. And you feel that, right? So then you go to the ancients, they're farmed, and end up wasting a lot of time, waiting for them to respawn. Anyway, by now your TP is ready, so you should be able to pressure bottom more now. Alright, so then you gotta think, like, the only way I die, it is nighttime, so you have a little bit less vision till the daytime. The only way you die here is if, you know, you basically get caught before you can react. You get Thunder Silence before you can pop the Blade Fury. If that happens, it's gonna be from the trees, most likely from the fogs. You wanna be a bit careful, let the creeps go first, pay attention to what heroes are missing. I don't know if you're aware of SK's having Blink or not. Doesn't. Wind Ranger showed mid, now missing. But this is a problem, right? Like you go all the way back, and this guy's already farming Ancient. So here you got too scared basically. This was the moment to step on the gas. If you're feeling unsafe, like yeah, Wind Ranger showing, just travels, and maybe SK around or ganking or whatever, which unlikely, but let's say they are. This is the key moment. I would say this is like the most important moment so far of the game, from what I've seen. Instead of walking back to your jungle, if you feel in danger, right, where everything is farmed or getting farmed currently, the place you go is here, right? This might sound weird, okay? I understand it may sound weird, but think about it. They're all missing. And in just about 10 to 20 seconds, maybe 30, whatever, as long as it takes, you're gonna get info. Either they really were going for you, in which case, well, I guess they would give up and go somewhere else. I don't see them like farming bottom as 5, or like grouping to push this tower. And if and the moment they show up somewhere else, where do you want to be? Again, here. You see, like, you're in the right spot that you should be in the near future. Right? You want to be here as soon as the enemy show elsewhere. Even if it's dangerous now. So that's where you stay in the trees and you wait for them to show. Because you give up the spot and check it out, like just 10 seconds later, Mirana shows top. And already you're safe, man, like, but now SK shows top as well. You should be feeling even more safe. And like now you want to be bottom, but you're not there. Okay, so now you run bottom, you run back bottom. Now these Ranald, okay, again you have to wait like 18 seconds. Or okay, there's a sentry backing up, nice. But you gotta take it easy until the Ranald is over. Yeah, this is already hella aggressive because Wind Ranger could, yeah, there she go. Wind Ranger's there. Ominous Sash kills the Witch Doctor. Now you don't have it for her though, but that's fine. Her Wind Run is out and Arc is TPing in with the clone, so you could just turn around and fight her. And actually probably would have killed her here because Wind Run was cooldown, yeah. Ends up getting the bounties. Now you chase her with Wind Run ready again, like absolute waste of time. Should just go back to pushing bottom. Okay, very nice. They pop Glyph. You force TPs. Okay, this is also an issue. First of all, one Witch Doctor should not be enough to scare you away. This was the first like earlier major moment. This is the second major moment. I would say this is a flat out mistake though. Bigger one than the last. Bigger mistake than the last one. The whole point of this is that you force reactions, right? Number one, you cannot TP to base when TPing out, because you lose too much time, right? And then their TP kind of becomes worth it because yeah, you force their TP, but they force your TP to base. You're not accomplishing anything. If you're TPing out, ideally you TP to a different lane to shove there, right? Or if worst case scenario, you TP to the same tower, take a camp or two, and then go back to the same lane. Now let's replay this. We see Wind Ranger being chased. We see Drow hitting top. Getting this, tanking with board. Okay, now the Witch Doctor TPs. Instant Blade Fury. Okay, first of all, Witch Doctor is not enough to force you back. The thing is, in hard games like these, I mean, it was 17-4 at one point, you have to take a little bit more risks. And definitely not play ultra scared. If you play ultra scared in tough games, you're just gonna lose, right? You cannot win tough games by only taking the safe choices. Making the safe choices. So yeah, once all the Witch Doctor shouldn't force you back. Right, Wind Ranger dead. You want to force more here. So answer would be go back, you know, a little bit, farm some nearby camps, and then go back to shoving the lane. And if you really want to dodge him, like I said, if you have this TP available, you can farm anywhere you want and be safe, right? You can literally just go farm these camps and cut the wave here, and you're not gonna die because you can always spin TP out. And when you do this, it's the same thing, right? You farm the camps, you cut the wave, then you can hide in the trees, see if they're coming for you or not. It would really help also if you could play some ward for yourself. That'll make it a lot easier. So yeah, basically gave up your position to apply any kind of pressure completely. And then you walked up. So yeah, bottom is just empty. And now, yeah, you end up dying because we don't have your escape. Actually run away from the... That was a bit of a... Yeah, if you just ran a straight line, he would have saved you with the glimpse. Maybe even try to kill her. So this is what I mean with being stuck when you TP. Right? You TP top, she TP top, and you have no answer. Terrible, yeah. I mean that... when I said that, it was actually for yeah, somebody else, but... And with this one death, I mean, honestly, TPing the base is kind of like dying. It's like a mini death. You get out on the map sooner, but it's still... You get off the map completely. It's might as well be the same thing. Now here you decide to fight. Get it with the dazzle, which makes no sense. Like, you're afraid until now, but now you want to walk up into a DD Mirana, right? Like, with your half your team dead. So still not the time to fight. Still should be ideally pushing bottom, but yeah, Wind Ranger's there, so maybe just go top in this case because you have no choice. Yeah, just get silenced, and they could have killed you there easily, but you know they didn't. Everybody's blinking out, and now you just get stunned, silenced there. Oh yeah, small side note also, you wanna ideally pop the healing ward before the fight starts. So like in this situation, if you're looking, you shouldn't be looking to fight, but if you are, you pop the healing ward like somewhere in the trees, and then you walk in afterwards.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has been denied.
Yeah, this is why Wind Ranger is a tough matchup, because you cannot really threaten her with Omni Slash unless her Wind Run is on cooldown, which is quite rare. Yeah, he had the Moonlight on him, but generally you shouldn't. After the Omni Slash, like if there's more enemies left, just get the spin going, get the healing ward going. But yeah, here you guys just start taking a bunch of fights in your triangle, lose several in a row, and the game is over, right? But the moment, like now it's too late to really do much. Got tilt. Okay, I mean, yeah, that could be, it's good to, you know, have that self-reflection. That could be a cause for sure. I mean, that's like, you know, mentality, that's a whole different thing we could talk about, but not getting tilted. But I would say that the key moment was really here, where you TP it out from the Switch Doctor. That's what put you in this position where you can't really do much anymore. To avoid getting into that position in the first place, you cannot TP out here, basically.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
You have to be one step ahead. The moment where, like, you know, Wind Ranger is your bitch, essentially, right? She can't do anything, is when you have MKB Abyssal. And you can't rush those items, so it's got to be on top of Battle Free Manta. If you have Battle Free Manta, MKB Abyssal, like, Wind Ranger cannot come near you without dying. In fact, could even be Ags instead of Abyssal, potentially. Well, it depends. Right, you need in Battle Free, you need like a stat item, MKB, get through the wind run, and you need a way to actually reach. If you're feeling fancy, you could even go like Abyssal into Nullifier to get rid of it, but that's like, it doesn't work through BKB, so not as good. I mean, the Wind Ranger may have been a smurf too, like this guy was kind of crushing the game. Or maybe he was just having a good game, you never know. Yeah, this is also a classic moment, like, people get scared. Like, they took ages, and now you're a bit scared, you don't want to fight them, right? The Ranger just showed up, trying to get some pick off. Spooky stuff, okay. Legion jumps up and gets killed. Now, this is the part where, like, don't get me wrong, it's probably, the game's probably over at this point. But this is like, you know, in theory, okay, it's just a mixed party. Yeah, fair enough. Mixed party game. It's, yeah. Yeah, Rapier also gets True Strike. This is the part where you see them top, you need to be pushing mid a lot. Right? Yeah, your camera is not there, it's on your hero, and it should be top. And you see there's a bunch of heroes top, start pushing mid. Right? All the way. Not run to the fight. The team is dead. Like, if the fight started before you're there, like, the team is dead, there's no longer a fight. You need to be getting out on the map and giving enemies a reason to not just choke you in the base. So just kind of ran a circle like this and watching Arcorn farm and just chilling in the base. This where you had to be pushing mid, getting a free mid tower, getting some money. Again, don't get me wrong, it wouldn't magically win you the game, but it's the only play you have. Because yeah, walking up here where you just saw them top, yeah, obviously not gonna work.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And honestly, like, Arcorn defends so well, and this guy's doing a job. Like, think about it, between the bubble lasts 16.5 seconds and has a 17-second cooldown with its CDR talent. 2 bubbles, 13 seconds. 13 out of 17 seconds, they cannot touch this tower because they're fucking ranged heroes. They cannot really get here. Then you add the glyph on top of that, another 7 seconds. By the time that's done, another magnetic field is ready, right? Between the glyph and the Arc Warden, this tower can be invulnerable for 30 plus seconds. Which is ridiculous. Imagine if you just A-click down mid, how much you would take in 30 seconds. And they didn't start hitting it when I told you that you could start pushing mid, by the way. This is the moment before you made that little circle maneuver. Let's watch. So camera here. Notice the drow shots, the SK. Or the drow just straight up shows herself. Notice the power shot. This is the moment that you know. I mean, also when Ray just shows herself right here. This is the moment that you're A-clicking down mid. When do they actually reach? I mean, they haven't even started taking this tier 2. So that was 27:30, right? Okay, they take the tower pretty quickly, obviously. 27:50, they would start hitting this. So that's 20 seconds of you pushing mid. And it would take them another 30 plus to begin hitting the tier 3. Obviously, they would just give up on the push entirely and go back to deal with you. Because otherwise, you would take the tier 2 as well and be knocking on tier 3 by the time they start doing anything. Alright. But the point is, you guys haven't taken a single tower. Right? That's why they have such a gigantic gold lead. That's why you have no items, because even though your farm isn't that bad, it's just you're ahead of the everyone except the drow. Just no towers, no money, and no reason for enemies to not 5-man. Yeah, exactly. Go where the enemies aren't, and by extension, go where your allies are not. Right? Because that way, like, where if your allies are grouping mid, like, what do you think is gonna happen? The enemies are also gonna group mid, right, to fight them. So if you see your allies grouping, you go the opposite side of the map and start pushing. That needs to be a habit. All right. We are at more or less 2 hours. They did start like 10 minutes late, but if anybody has any questions, this is your last chance. Gonna be turning off the stream soon. Anyway, this was just a test drive, right, of this open coaching concept. We'll be doing many more. Gonna do a straw poll also to determine which times suit people the best. I can kind of see. Yeah, so there's gonna be more of this. If anybody's not any new viewers, make sure to join the Discord for updates there. You're gonna know when I stream. There's also free content there, like infographics and whatnot. Alright, so that's gonna be it then, guys. Thanks for watching, good night, and hope to see you on the next stream as well. Have a good one, bye bye.